What's up, everybody? Welcome to another session of the Kava podcast. The session live out of San Francisco on this beautiful Friday night. As you guys can see, I'm joined by my two guests. Pause. Joined by my two guests here tonight. We're gonna shift on the Friday night shows for 2024. I decided that I'm going to dedicate my Friday night show to talk a lot more about politics, social issues, and pop culture. Especially, a lot of you guys know I'm really big into strong families, and strong families are a foundation of society, and I do really care about what's going on around the world. And politics is something I've been keeping an eye on for the last couple of years, and I definitely want to share my opinions and talk about it because I do care about the future in society where not only I'm going to live in, but also my children, my grandchildren. So I think it's a great conversation to have, especially as Pacific Islanders. You know, a lot of you guys know I'm Tongan, so as Pacific Islanders, and I know we're a minority when it comes to America, but oftentimes we don't really like to talk about politics, but I think it's something important that we definitely need to discuss. So I appreciate you guys always tuning in. We're definitely going to start this show and continue it every single week and just focus on politics, social issues, and pop culture. But nevertheless, I appreciate you guys always tuning in. You guys already know what to do. The best way to support me, if you see value in the content, smash that like and subscribe button real quick. Okay. And of course, this is a public show. You guys already know that on Fridays and Saturdays, I have in-studio podcast live shows where I bring people in to the studio here in San Francisco. And there's a way you guys can join if you want to jump on as a public guest and talk to us directly. You can get that link by signing up and becoming a supporting member on my Locals account. And the link is in the description. Click on that link and become a supporting member, and you'll be able to get that link and join us from wherever you are in the world. So shout out to every supporting member on my Locals. You guys always support me financially to constantly build my channel and give you guys the best quality content. So thank you so much for all your support. And of course, if you want to share your opinions and your voice, drop it through a super chat. I'll be able to read it, put it on the screen, and shout out to you and respond to you guys for any questions or topics you guys may have. And I already see you, Lord Punisher, on the live chat. Shout out to you. Thank you so much already being on the live chat, supporting us as always. So let's get the live chat popping. Don't be a ninja watcher. Don't be a creep. All right. It's a live stream, so let me know what you guys think and show some love if you guys recognize us or if you recognize these guests. But it's going to be an interesting conversation tonight. You know, politics is something that a lot of people shy away from. A lot of people don't want to get canceled. A lot of people don't want to get canceled when you talk about politics. But I think when it comes to the things I believe in, I think we have to speak on the things that we stand firm as, not only as individuals, men and women, but especially for me, I believe as men, right? So, but nevertheless, and I think that's all my YouTube stuff. Thank you so much, as always supporting me on my channel. But I'll pass it to the guests. If you want to go ahead and give yourself a quick intro for everybody out there. And then I'll start with you, Joe. Joe, it's been a minute.
Yeah.
It's been a couple of years since I've seen you, and also a couple of years since our last podcast together. The last one we had was at Edgar's house in the living room.
Yeah. Just one-on-one on chairs, no table.
No chairs, no table, and old camera.
Right.
Hey.
So, but yeah, Joe, it's good to have you back. What's a quick intro for everybody out there if they want to know who you are?
Joe Tokmata from the Bay. Just happy to be here.
Mm-hmm.
Can't wait to speak to whatever political stance we have.
Yes, sir. All right, Joe, it's good to see you. Good to have you back, Toko. And then I'll pass it to you, Monica. Monica, always good to have you on the show. But yeah, give yourself a quick intro for everybody out there.
It's Monica. Great to be here. And yeah, let's get the conversation going.
Okay. All right. So So shout out to you guys. Thank you so much as always. Don't forget to tuning in. And but we'll go right into it. So the discussion we're gonna have tonight is politics, Trump versus Biden 2024. But before we go into that topic and dive in, I just want to ask you guys, because we're all Pacific Islanders here, we're all Tongans on this panel. What's your thoughts about Pacific Islanders or Tongans in general? Why it's important for us to speak about politics? I kind of explained already in the beginning of the podcast, but I'm just interested to hear because you don't really hear a lot of Tongans. We discussed this before the podcast. We don't really see a lot of us talk about politics, and I do also understand where when it comes to compared to the other ethnicities as far as population, we're less than 1%. But I think it's something that's important, especially because I do hear a lot of times there's a lot of Pacific Islanders complaining on social media of how we're not represented, especially when it comes to politics, or especially when it comes to social issues or laws that's being passed. A lot of times there's a lot of laws being passed for specific groups of people, but we don't often get mentioned. So I think that for me is if we want to see change, then we have to do something about it. So this is my formal way of not just waiting and doing nothing and doing something about it. But I'm just interested to hear your thoughts about when it comes to politics and just being a Tongan. And start with you, Joe.
I think with politics and being Tongan in the U.S., I mean, we are a small demographic of people here in the U.S. We're like a drop of water in the ocean of different ethnicities in the U.S. So it is hard for us to get our names out there, but it's not. I don't feel like we can't reach it. Almost every ethnicity knows what a Polynesian is, right? I mean, we get mixed up with the Samoans all the time.
Yeah.
But we're the same people. We're all Polynesians, and just doing what you're doing, podcasting, getting your voice heard out there, even with NFL players and big names on the sports as well, helps us get our name known. Just the little things I say with political wise, I'd say we're part of the country.
Yeah.
We're part of this country. We're all Americans now. If you're born here or, you grew up here, you were raised here, you're part of this country. And if you don't want to see, the country go down the same path many other countries go when the people don't get what they want.
Yeah.
I think our voice is just as loud as, or needs to be just as loud as every other ethnicity that live here. So let's say, speak up if you have something to say.
Yeah.
And, you add in your opinion and your ideas to the country and trying to make it better for not just yourself, but also for your community. I feel like,
Yeah. All right. Thank you for sharing that.
Big contribution.
Yeah. Solid right there. What about you, Monica?
So I think for the most part, Pacific Islanders, if not like Tongan communities, have been in the United States since the beginning of 1980. Most of us. Some of us came here in 1975. Some of us were lucky to come here in 1960 or 65. Right. So for the most part, we are very new to this country.
Yeah.
And for the most part, why I think we matter is because we contribute to a lot of the constant consumerism. Okay, so everything, and I think I want to mention this to, our community. We are buyers. We are givers, especially with the Tongan community. We give a lot. We give a lot to our family, our friends. And so for the most part, we like to buy, right? If you are in the United States and you are a buyer, like if you're a community and you buy a lot of things, what that means is you are a contributor to this country, right? So for the most part, Tongans are contributors to this country. And I know this because I'm a part of a nonprofit in San Mateo. besides my actual career, I decided to be a part of this nonprofit based on the health effects that we gain during being in this country. And it's maybe for a lot of reasons and a lot of factors, but for the number one factor is our limited knowledge on what's out there for us to consume and for us to not consume. And so what I want to say is it's important for us to understand policy. It's important for us to understand our government because we are actual consumers, but we are actual contributors, right? So as far as it comes to like diabetes and death rates in our communities, and we all, and hopefully maybe the viewers don't know, but our death rates in terms of chronic conditions are very high. And so there are, stats that you can view on CDC when it comes to minority stats. But when I say that, I mean like when we are faced with chronic conditions, right? And a lot of us are dying from it. Well, chronic conditions really are linked to the consumption of products that are sold in the US, right? Because most of us die before retirement age. So, therefore, you are a consumer, you are a contributor, so you should always know about your politics. Your politics is what is going to basically continue what's going to happen to you. And that's why I think this conversation is important.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you for sharing that, Joe and Monica. And I think for me, the reason why I've been following and being paying attention to a lot more politics, because I think there's a lot of things I started to see for the last probably 2, 3, 4 years in America that they're pushing, they're trying to make normalize within our society that I highly disagree with. And not only from myself as far as my value system, but I think in general for people, like the letting kids choose their gender. And that's one thing I disagree with. We have the men and women. I think that we have the multiple genders. I think that from a biological perspective, a man and a woman. Man is a man and a woman. I think when we try to confuse it, this causes a lot of issues. We have women. We have trans women competing in men's sports, and then we have trans men competing in men's sports. I don't think that's fair. So all these issues I just highly disagree with, and I know for me and a lot of millions of people out there, they have the same viewpoint. I'm sure there's people out there that also agree, but I think that's why it's good to have this conversation. But at the end of the day, we're trying to find what's best for society, and I just don't think that those issues for me, that's not a type of society or a type of future that I would want my kids to live in. That's why I decided for me, let's make a show. I want to talk about these things. It's going to affect me. It affects everybody because we're all Americans at the end of the day. So if I'm always a big believer in, like, if you want to do something, then do something about it, but don't just complain and not do anything about it. So I want to have these conversations with you guys. So we're going to go right into it. And the first one we're going to talk about is the election between Trump and Biden. Well, the Trump and Biden election that's coming up right now. I think it's going to be in November. And I just want to ask you, what's your thoughts on the election? Right now Trump is the one that's leading the Republicans when it comes to the race between the Republicans. We don't really know the race between the Democrats. For right now, we think Biden's going to run again, but they haven't confirmed or denied that he's going to run again. We're still waiting for that, and we haven't really seen a candidate. They're going to, if Biden doesn't run for the presidency, then who's going to be the one to be the main candidate for the Democrats? So I just want to ask you guys, what do you think about the election so far, the candidates so far, and And what's your concern for the future of America, depending on the candidates that we have available, whether it's the Democrats or the Republicans? All right, I'll start with you, Monica.
Okay. Well, I personally believe that when it comes to this candidacy, you're asking me to pick my poison. Are you asking me to pick my poison? And I've said this before, and I'll say it again, because you're asking me to pick between the 10%, which is the Democrats, and you're asking me to pick between the 1%, which is the Republicans. So, as a person that's underneath both of those percentages, and when I mean those percentages, let me explain. The 1% are the people we will never see in our lives. The 1% is the people that rule everything in the US. It's the people that control everything that goes on, our government, our corporations. And the 10% is the corporations which control everything, which is our government, which is ourselves, which is our media, which is how we're doing this today. Okay. And so I think it's funny because I think I have to state this when it comes to our candidacy, really what they are asking us to do is pick your poison, right? They're asking us to pick our poison because if they ask us to pick democracy, like the Democrat Party, then we are picking all of the corporations that rule everything, which means those fast food restaurants, those, media things that you want to go on Amazon, right? Those things you want to buy from, right? They coexist, pharmaceutical companies, right? Military, weaponry companies. We talked about that earlier. That's a big portion, but it's on the under wraps, and the Republicans deal with that on a big basis too. Okay. But when we talk about democracy, right, we're talking about people that really revolve around everything as a consumer in the US that you buy, right? As a consumer, that you're coming in here, you're in America, but when you're born in America, you don't actually know that because that's what you're born into. You're born into watching commercials. You're born into looking at things, walking in the streets, billboards. You're born into watching stupid things on the street, magazines. You're born into getting to societies that also watch that too. So really, when you ask people to pick democracy and Republican, and I guess I haven't gone in on Republicans, but Republicans are probably the 1%, right? Which is a percentage that most of us will never reach, right?
When you say the Republicans are part of the 1%, what do you mean by that?
The Republicans are the 1%. These are the people that we'll never see. These are the people that we will think we know who they are, but they actually aren't. These are the people these are the people that rule over our governmental entities. These are all our governmental systems and our corporations. These are the people that are so rich that you don't know that they exist. And that's old wealth. That's
talking
old
about
money. Rockefeller.
Like the lobbyists that support
not
most
lobbyists.
Of the candidates?
No, lobbyists would be Democratic.
No, I disagree with that. Both parties have lobbyists.
Sure, you do disagree, but tell me why you do.
No, because both parties have lobbyists.
Yes, but who has the most private?
Most private what?
Lobbyists.
I don't know that.
I'm pretty sure they all have private lobbyists.
But when you said the reason why you're confusing me when you said the 1%, there are.
You want me to tell you the 1%, but the truth is I can't tell you the 1% because the 1% is unknown.
Like the 1%, like that.
Are you talking about income?
Are
you talking about income?
I'm talking about income. I'm talking about people. I'm not even talking about income. I'm talking about power, income and power.
What I'm saying is both parties. Both parties have members that they're all multimillionaires from Democrats and Republicans.
Okay.
So who's that? Bernie Sanders. He preaches about welfare and everything. He's a multimillionaire, right?
Bernie Sanders is a part of the 10%. Maybe not even the 10%.
No,
I'm
he's
sorry.
a multimillionaire.
He's probably a little under the 10%.
No, you know he is a multimillionaire. That's a fact.
That's a multimillionaire, but I think
But that's
what you're missing is that there are people here that's bigger than that.
no. I'm just saying that you're trying to say that all Republicans are part of the 1%. Most people in most of the powerful people on both parties who have influence, they're all rich. They're all multimillionaires.
Well, you're speaking in terms of the U.S. You're not speaking in terms of people that were born in the U.S. and moved out to a different country, right? And so,
Wait, I'm confused.
I'm
Yeah.
confused.
and
too.
you're also not talking about generational wealth. What is generational wealth?
No.
We know what generational wealth.
Yeah,
No, can you just
I
can you
know
just define when you-
Rockefeller and all of
Yeah, I
that
know
with
that.
the big oil companies back in
Like
the
when you
day, the
said
steel mill,
yeah.
you know, all of
They're not
those.
even that
No,
big.
when you said Republicans are part of the 1%, the
Right.
Democrats are part of the 1%. If you talk about income, all the politicians that have influence, have power, they're all multimillionaires. They're all because to be part of the 1%, you have to make $400,000 a year.
Hmm.
And those politicians that we see all the time, they
Is
have
that
the
in
most
the U.S.?
in the U.S.
Because I could have sworn that in California, if you, and that's 2012, if you made 200,000 a year, you were part of low income,
No,
and that's in California.
that's in California. But if you want,
right,
but if you,
that's in
but-
California. But let's
But you said one.
think about
But
it.
if you want to be part of that 1%, it's 400,000 a year.
Where's the
1%.
source that you got this from?
Now, this is a fact. You can fact check it. You can look it up. I'll look it up right now. So, 1% income, U.S. In the U.S. All right. Well, it went up probably
Right.
because of
It
inflation.
always goes up.
So it's but it's about five. Well, it
It's
says
about
now
there.
526,000. So if you make more than $526,000 a year, part of that 1%.
Correct.
Bernie Sanders is a multimillionaire. He makes more than 500,000.
You said 400,000.
Wait, that was like 2-3 years ago when I looked it up.
It went up to 526,000.
Yeah, that's more.
But he still makes millions.
He makes millions.
Which is once I live at the household, which is
Right here, look, Bernie
6,000.
Sanders net worth.
3 mil.
There you go.
3 million?
3
That's
million.
under 6,000.
Under what?
I mean 6 million.
Yeah. So he's
Is that
he's
a
still
part of the
multi-
one? Is that
But
a
that's
part
3
of the
million that we know of.
that we know
Right.
of. Yeah.
So is that? But either way, is that?
So
is
he's
that part of that 6 million that you showed me?
Hmm?
Is that part of the 6 million you showed me? That's on the Google website. And really, when you Google things, nothing of this is true.
So where do you get information
Yeah.
from?
What was this?
Okay. Well, I feel like I've said this like a million.
No,
times.
what I'm just saying is, you said something that Republicans are part of the 1%.
Yes.
So what I'm saying is that's
Do you
inaccurate.
feel like 3 million is a part of the 1%?
Well, that's
Yes.
3 million on only assets that the government know about. Not
I mean,
including
the data shows that
different
if you make
investments that he's made.
500,000, over 500,000 a year, you're part of the 1% in America.
Right.
He's making more than 500,000, so he's surpassed that one. He's the 1% of the 1%.
And this is according to U.S. Bureau.
This is according to
Is this according to what you're asking or what you're saying, the statements you're saying? Is this according to U.S. Bureau? Bureau, not according to Bernie Sanders, but according to the actual
what do you want to use? Do you want to
1%.
use Yahoo Finance? Do you
No,
want to use the
I'm
Hill?
talking about U.S. Bureau.
I mean, what do you want? What?
I mean, I'm not trying to fact check you. I'm
Yeah.
just asking. I'm just like, this
I
is
mean,
according
even
to
if we
US
run it
Bureau.
off of the U.S. Bureau, it shouldn't be far off.
I mean, not
from
on.
what we can now.
This is not the only place I've seen it online. Like this other politicians have called out Bernie Sanders because they have done their own research on him and saying he makes millions. They know this already.
Mhm.
So everybody, he is a multimillionaire. That is a fact.
Mhm.
So he is part of that 1%. So the Democrats, the politicians are all multimillionaire. Most of them who have the influence, have the most of the power, the ones that can make a difference, the policymakers, they're all multimillionaires because they're all backed by their the lobbyists and the people that put them in power. Because when you campaign, you need people to support you, and that's how you make your
Right.
money.
But what about Bernie Sanders' son?
What does that have?
Is he running for president?
Well, no, not that he's running for president, but most likely, like you're saying that he's a multimillionaire.
Yeah.
And you're saying he's a part of 1%. I only see 3 million on there when you Google that.
Yeah, he makes
But what
more.
I'm asking you is this: what about his children? Why are you able to just readily find him? Do you think that the 1% it can be readily found on Google?
Yes.
Yeah.
If you're a public figure,
If you're a public
he's a
figure,
public figure. There are
Well,
millionaires that we don't know about, but they're not public figures. But if you're a politician, if you're a public figure,
So what you mean to say is he is a part of the 10% in a public figure way.
why
it's
you
just like Bill Gates. If you were to
I
look
have to
up,
ask that. I just
you
want to
were-
ask.
up Bill Gates, he's the same. He's a public figure now, but if he didn't want to step into the spotlight, he'll be one of those multimillionaires who you probably won't know too much about.
But you disagree that Bernie Sanders is not part of the 1%.
I think I disagree entirely that I'd even know the 1%. I don't know who the 1% is.
Well, you already know a couple people who are part of that 1%. You know Elon Musk.
I don't know them. Have I gone to lunch with them? Do I think they're real people? No. But in terms of like going on Google and stuff, I still wouldn't know who the 1% was.
Yeah, but you don't know anybody you don't know none of those people.
Yeah.
The truth is like for us to sit here and pretend like we know who the 1% is and who the 10% is.
No,
a lot.
Well, no, we don't know them personally. But when you say 1%, you're talking about income, right?
We are talking about income, and
Okay,
we
so
are talking
that's
about
something
that in the U.S.
Yeah, but that's something we don't know him personally to know how much money he makes, because when this information is all public, so we know for a fact that he makes more than $500,000 a year, so he is part of that 1%.
Okay.
So I don't need to know him personally, because all public figures, they have to have that information up hand. If you can look like Trump, when presidents go run for office, they have to release their tax
The
records.
tax rate, yeah.
So we all have information to that.
So do you feel like Trump is a part of the 1% or 10?
He is the 1%.
He is a 1%.
He is 1%.
Yeah.
How much does Trump make in a year?
He make millions.
He's a billionaire.
Oh, he's a billionaire.
Yeah, he's a
actually.
billionaire. Yeah.
Okay.
But what I'm saying is, you don't believe that Bernie Sanders is part of the 1%.
Like I said before, I don't think I could I couldn't look up who's part of the 1%.
Have you looked up that Bernie Sanders is? Do you know that information or no? This is the first time.
Why would, and here's my question, right?
Yeah.
I'm going to ask this question. Why would the 1% have their information on here?
Because it's by law.
Is it by law?
Yes.
Well, the ones that are running, for
Are there
office.
not policies that protect those?
Well, there's loopholes
Yeah,
to
there's
get out
loopholes.
of
Yeah.
get out of a lot of things, and then there's definitely people behind pulling strings and trying to get these people into office.
Yeah.
And they're funding them, and they're not upfront, and their information isn't released completely. But if you're talking about those 1% that are pulling the strings from behind, every lobbyist, every person that's running for president has somebody pulling the strings from behind. It's funding their campaign.
Have you ever heard of the Forbes top? The Forbes is always make the top 100 richest people.
What
What I'm saying is, if you make a lot of money, people can find out that information.
Yeah.
If they want to. So this information is found online. So Bernie Sanders is a 1%er.
Yeah, you can
Well-
find.
So
you
I'm
can,
just-
you
yeah,
can
I'm just-
find almost everyone's.
Yeah, that's why I'm trying
net
to.
worth
That's
on there.
why. That's why I think I don't know if like what like you're because I see like you're struggling to agree with that, even though the facts
I'm
are right
definitely
there.
not going to agree with that because I keep telling you my answer. I wouldn't know who the 1% is in the U.S.
Yeah, I wouldn't
and
know who
neither would you.
all of the 1%.
Right,
Yes.
but what you're asking,
You're-
what you're
you can
telling
look up
me is different
majority
of
of
what
them, right?
different was what your Google fact is showing me. You're showing me 3 million, and that's not a part. I don't even think that's a part of the 10%.
That is
No,
the
that
10%.
I just showed you that
Or the 1%.
The 1% is
3
500.
million.
1% is 500,000. If you make more than $500,000 a year, you are part of the 1%.
Are we talking about the U.S. stats or what kind of?
Yes,
stats
we're talking
are
about
we
Yeah, the
U.S.
US,
because
yeah.
we're
The
all-
U.S. stats and compared to globally, or U.S. stats and compared to U.S.
we're talking about the U.S. because we're talking
because
because we're in the
that
U.S.
amount of money is not a lot. 3 million is not a lot. It's a lot more than I have for
Yeah.
sure. Everybody in this room, but that is not 10%, and that's not one.
That is not 10%. What do you mean?
And
10%?
that's not one. That's not of the high 10%. That's not of the high 1%.
It-
I don't
it
think
is-
we understand what stats is.
No.
Should we go through what stats are? Should we go through
So
what statistics 101 is?
so
I'm
it's-
not
I mean,
understanding.
look, if we can't disagree on this, part of the 1%,
I'm not trying to.
it's 500,000.
500,000.
It's five. If you make more than 500,000, you are part of the 1% in America. That is a fact right here.
And if we're talking
I
about
don't
tops,
See,
top,
but then I guess then you disagree with facts.
Well, these are Google facts, so these are actual facts.
These are all Fortune. You can use the fortune.com. You get smart asset. It's all in the same place.
Where is the actual?
Or
Where is
Forbes-
the actual?
Forbes is right
So you
there.
And
search-
even Forbes is higher than what you have done.
No, look
right?
at that.
So
That's by states.
that's even Forbes is higher than what you've
No, we have to read.
asked.
We have to read.
What
we have to read
about-
the article.
Census Bureau.
We have to.
but even by states, he's still the top 1% in those states, making over $1 million.
There we go for census using this website, census.gov.
I don't know.
500,000.
I don't know. I don't know if
No,
I
it's-
believe that.
That's your bias. You
Is that my
refuse-
bias?
The facts are right there. You're refusing to acknowledge the facts.
I don't know if that's
if you
my
make
bias.
if you make more than 500,000, then you are part of that 1%. And Bernie Sanders makes more than.
Do you
1%.
think that it's there to make citizens of like the regular citizen feel like it's more attainable? Because I think it's there to make citizens feel like it's more attainable. I do.
I don't know what for me, it's not about why it's there. It's a fact. If you make 500,000, you're part of that.
If
1%.
you think about it, right? Don't you think that number, and you said that he makes more. Don't you think that number you just stated before that you felt like Bernie made more than that amount, right? The 3 million that we saw before. You said that. So do you not think that this number here is here to make the average American man to feel like this is attainable? Because I think it is.
Well, anything's attainable. in
Anything's
the
that,
US.
yeah.
But why wouldn't it be? You want to be empowered, right? You want to feel like you can reach that. You want to feel like you can reach it. I'm not saying that you can't.
I don't want to go.
I'm just saying
I don't
that
want to. I don't want
why
to make.
would they not put it on the internet where it's so attainable for the average man to look that up, to see that, and to feel some type of way?
No, I don't want to go.
That's a question.
I don't want to go and just to have
I
a
mean,
debate.
we can look at somebody else's numbers and they'll still show the same thing.
Yeah.
They're probably going to be the top 1% running for office.
I don't want to make this a debate about the 1%, like what's part of the 1%.
I don't want to either.
I want to talk about Trump, but the facts are there. If you make more than 500,000, you are part of the 1%. If you don't
500,000.
500,000. 500. If you want to get specific, 526,000, whatever that number is.
That's major.
Yeah. So the thing is, you said that the Republicans was part of the 1%, and what I was telling you was that's incorrect. There are politicians.
So you feel like Trump is not a part of the 1% or
no?
10?
You said specifically Republicans.
Is Trump not a Republican?
No, but you said Democrats. There are
Republicans.
Democrat multimillionaires who are.
Or 10%.
Who are part of that 1%, and there are Republicans who are multimillionaires who are part of the 1%. So both parties, it's not just a Republican thing, but you stated that the Republicans is part of the 1%. Democrats, they have senators and they have politicians who are multimillionaires.
So did you say that I said that Democrats were not a part of the 1%?
You said
you said the Democrat. The
Republicans,
Democrats were
10%.
the 10%. And
the Republicans
were the 1%, but the 1% that you couldn't look up on Google search or whatever and are
Yeah, we
you
just
know, behind the scenes, and
Yeah.
you can't find their information for some reason.
Well, you can't find that for both parties. But what I want to ask is how much does Donald Trump make?
A lot.
he's a multi-billionaire.
Really? Okay, let's look that up.
I mean, I don't
I
agree.
mean,
He is
that's
one of the
that's already a
1%.
common knowledge. There's no
Yeah.
point of looking up.
Okay.
I mean, you don't know he's a multi-billionaire?
I mean, I don't know anything.
I mean,
I don't know. I don't know these people. That's my whole point. I don't know who
But
these people are.
My point is, we don't have to know them
Yeah.
personally.
Like I
but
have
we know
no
how much
idea
they
who they
make.
are.
But we do know how much
But
they
for me
make.
to look up it online and stuff, I would always question that as well.
But I don't know how else we would find our
Yeah,
source.
how
I mean,
else would we find information?
I can't pull every book out of the files, and you know.
I mean, Trump's a billionaire. We don't need to look it up. Like we know he's a multi-billionaire. Okay, all right. I mean, all we're saying is I disagree. You said that the Republicans were part of the 1%, and I disagreed. And I just said both parties, they have multi-millionaires, and we have facts to check the incomes of every politician in America. We can see how much money they make, and then you can look a lot of politicians for the Democratic Party, and there are a couple millionaires. I'm not saying all, but there are some multi-millionaires on both sides.
Mhm.
So.
Well, if that's the case, then our mayor over here is a multi-millionaire too.
Of course he is.
Because
I don't know.
She makes about 500,000. So that's why I ask you to fact check this, because the truth is like a lot of this is hearsay. She say right now. London Breed about 2 or 3 years ago made about close to 400,000 a year.
Yeah.
So that means now that's over it. So that means now she's a part of this percentage, and the percentage of 10% in comparison to what? What is the percentage? Look up the percentage of the global population right now.
No, we're off.
Should we not do that? Because I feel like we should.
No, we're
Well,
off
you're
tracking.
you're doing this to a person that knows biostatistics and statistics. So why I'm asking you to do this is to show it. It's to show me.
No, I don't.
Because
I
you
don't
can't
want to
show
go.
me through Google.
I don't want to make this about the 1%. We just spent the last 20 minutes.
Okay, we don't have to.
Yeah, we don't have to. But
Okay.
But it is a fact that the 1% is 500,000. And if you make anything more than 500,000, you're part of the 1%. And Bernie Sanders is a multi-millionaire. That is a fact.
Mm.
He is part of the 1%. Whether you agree with that or believe that or not, but the facts is the facts.
I would never believe something I saw on the internet. That's dumb.
So you're saying every single source on the internet is false?
I'm saying every single source is to categorize us as people, as individuals, to feel like we can attain a certain amount of money here in the U.S. when that's not actually what's happening statistically. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I'm not even talking about that. I'm just trying to. The main point was.
What I'm saying is, after
the
saying
1%.
that, there's not a fact to it. There's not a fact to what you showed me. There's not a fact to what you're saying, but there's not a fact to what I'm saying either. But what I'm saying is, I can tell you this much. I don't know the 1%.
Nobody
the
knows
1%.
I mean,
You don't
nobody
know-
knows them personally.
Right.
You don't know that.
That's the real.
Yeah,
You know
but-
them
but
that
that's different.
they're
I don't know
they're the
them.
1%.
You don't know.
Could be welcome next
I know,
week.
but you made a statement. You made a statement comparing like the 1% is part of their income. Makes you 1%. Your personality doesn't make you 1%. Your income makes you 1%.
Correct.
Okay, so Bernie Sanders makes more than
But
500,000.
you're asking me to say yes, that the income that you show me on a Google site, right, on any Google site is factual. Is factual. And that's just not the truth.
Well, you don't have
Okay.
to agree with it, but it's
You don't.
there.
Yeah.
Math you can never statistically, in statistics, you do a lot of things, but statistics, you can't actually do that with statistics. In statistics, in numbers, they'll never show you that. That's just a clear fact.
So you're saying,
That's
I mean,
a clear fact. When
so-
it comes to money, there are policies in place that will actually shed these people from showing that. But by all means, I'm gonna say what I want to say.
Yeah. So
but please.
Can I ask you, are there any websites online that you believe is true? Like they provide legitimate information?
Okay. A website that's online that's true is something that you can do on your own, right? Really, what you can do is you can go on Census Bureau and ask the amount of people that are in the U.S., right?
Yeah.
You can go onto people don't understand how to calculate things, and that's okay. There's online places where you can calculate things, but like really,
So to you, that's the only website you trust?
it's not. I don't trust anything. I do the math. You have to do the math.
I'm not
You
talking about.
cannot-
I'm not
but
talking about the
hold on,
math. I'm not
but
talking about the math.
You're asking me, and I'm trying to tell
Yeah.
you. Okay, so the truth is like you can go on Census Bureau and you can ask for the actual population in the U.S. in 2023. That year's already passed, so they'll give you that. That's not even everybody entirely, right? Now you can ask this particular website, any website. You can go say, create my statistic website,
Yeah.
and you can ask like, okay, in these people, how many people can be 10%? When they show you the number of how many people can be 10%, you won't understand what's Google showing you.
Okay.
You wouldn't.
That's fine.
You wouldn't.
No, I'm just saying there are. The thing is, I think.
Look, I don't trust Google 100%.
But there are
just like-
legitimate
yeah,
websites out
but,
there.
I
There
mean,
are sites out there that provide factual information.
unless you have
I also agree that there are websites there that don't provide good information, but there are legitimate websites that provide information. And a lot of these websites, like Yahoo, Finance, Forbes, these are legitimate websites that they go out there and find statistics. What do you? I mean, you may disagree with it. You may not trust it, and that's your own prerogative. But it is a fact that Bernie Sanders is a multimillionaire, and he's part of that 1%.
To be honest, I don't see there's anything against it. It's multimedia. You want to make sure that the man under, and Bernie Sanders is part of the Democratic Party. You forget that I'm not actually a part of the Democratic Party, but he is a part of the Democratic Party. So therefore, you want to make sure that you're at an income level that makes sense to people, right? You're to feel like it's attainable.
Yeah, I just want to go back there and we can continue on.
When it comes to districts and mayors,
Yeah.
they make even more than that.
Yeah.
So that makes no sense. District and mayors, and we're talking about in actual city counties.
Yeah.
So what are we talking about this?
No.
We have to question this.
Look, I want to go back to the Trump, our thoughts about the Trump and the Biden election. But I just, like I said, the whole point was we just disagreed that the Republicans is not the only 1%. So the 1% is part of the Republicans and Democrats.
Okay.
Now, you may disagree that, but like you can't sit here and say that the Republicans are the only ones a part of the 1% because there are multimillionaires also in the Democratic Party. Biden,
and there could be
Biden is a
multimillionaires.
multimillionaire. Biden's a
That is
His
true.
son is a multimillionaire. They have evidence of him taking bribes. They have millions of dollars in received from overseas companies. But I'm just saying, and that's our president.
Yeah.
He's a multimillionaire.
Right.
So
but I feel like this for sure is like on some other level.
Oh, that's fine. But I'm just saying is on both sides. So that's why I just wanted to disagree on, because you were just making it seem like the Republicans were the only ones a part of the 1%.
No, at the end of the day, I think that most of them are, because it's family, it's generational wealth. There's only been a few family members that have been Democrats. It's not generational wealth. Do I think that Democrats are better than Republicans? No, not at all. I don't even know why we keep choosing between two.
Okay. All right. So
Like,
okay, but let's keep it moving. With the if what's your thoughts about the members that's running for presidency, which is going to be Trump? Right now, the top candidates for right now, for what I see online, is Trump, Nikki Haley, DeSantis, and I think that's it. And then when it comes for the Democratic side, it's Biden. But we haven't had confirmation if he's going to run. We're still waiting to see what happens with him. But look, most likely it looks like it's going to be Biden. But there hasn't been anybody that came out.
No, they haven't verified.
Yeah.
No. It's Marianne Williamson, who is a woman, 71-year-old or 77.
Marianne Williamson.
No, 71.
Or just look up
There you go.
all of them.
Marianne Williamson, and then right there, and then the next runner up
I
is
might have
Phillips.
seen her talking about some
Yes, the next one is
weird
Phillips.
stuff.
Okay. Where is it? Oh, Chrome tab. There we go. So Marianne Williamson, okay.
Yes, and then the next one is Phillips.
Who?
Phillips, David Phillips.
I've never heard of these people.
Mm-mm.
Danny Phillips.
Oh, it's somebody searched
No, hold on. Sorry.
they were like, yeah, David Phillips. They were. Ooh,
No, Dean Phillips.
David what?
Dean Phillips.
Dean Phillips.
Yeah. So these are the runner-ups here. And for the most part, the Democratic Party, Jewish as can be, which is weird. Maybe his mother's Jewish, so he is actual Jewish. So really, as you can see, these are the two ones.
yeah.
So he's only 55 years old, right?
Okay.
When it comes to education-wise, I feel like Marianne actually doesn't have a lot of education. She is a author. So
Mhm.
You
she's
said
written,
Marianne Phillips
Marianne Williams.
or Williams?
Yes, Marianne Williamson, which is
Okay.
Okay.
yeah. So she is about 71, and she is she has a college degree, Pomona College. I think it's an undergrad, hopefully, but she's more so of an author.
Okay.
And so she's more so of a community activist. Um,
But you feel like she's a
I feel like for the most part, to be very honest, I feel like for the most part, when we talk about democracy, right, there's a line, there's like a stage, there's like a way of talking about, being a Democrat, right? And so a lot of the times when she talks about her work, she talks about, healthcare and being in healthcare and how it's important and all this stuff, right?
Mhm.
But the truth is like we need to hear more about what your strategy is. What is your strategy to create, this, universal healthcare that you talk about? And when I say universal healthcare, is the same thing when I'm saying about looking up the population rate in the U.S. Right? Population rate in the U.S. is like by far most a lot. Well, compared to other countries, it's not so much actually in comparing to other countries, but it's a vast majority of people, right? And so when we talk about healthcare, we have to talk about like, what are your plans in healthcare? What do you plan? You can say that like healthcare is a big thing. We need to change it. People aren't able to afford college tuition for their kids. People aren't able to get the healthcare that's needed when diabetes rates is sky high, right? From 2012 up until now, diabetes in children, and this is like children under the age of 12, has skyrocketed by 22%.
Okay.
Okay, I got a question though. So what are you looking for in the candidacy for president? What is their qualifications? What makes them qualified to be president of the US, United States? The strongest leader in on earth.
Okay, so really, I'm looking for anything that's more public health related, right?
Why is that?
The reason why that is because the number one deaths in the US is car accidents. The second is chronic conditions, right? And so if the first is car accidents, that means that there's safety issues that are not relevant in our public right now, right? When it comes to inspection work, right? When it comes to inspection work with our cars, when it comes to education work in our DMV places, right? For some reason, people are driving around and dying instantly, right? So what we want to do is we want to limit and prevent our citizens from dying so rapidly. And for the most part, it is car accidents, right?
Okay.
Secondly is chronic conditions, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So that would mean that there is more policies on the food production and the food quality that's being presented within the US,
Okay.
right? Now, one thing that Marianne Williamson does present is she presents, and she talks a lot about healthcare and a lot about, bringing healthcare to the US, bringing it to people and all this other stuff. And honestly, I don't understand. Democrats were so strategic about it before before Trump came. When Trump came, people were just like, well, I'm just going to say what I want to say and come after happy hour. You know what I mean? Because I've seen it. I've seen her interviews, and I've seen Dean Phillips' interviews, and both of their interviews were very, well, Dean was better. Dean was a lot better, actually. Yeah. But like, it was just very nonchalant. Like, okay, you're saying this, but what is your strategy? And why do you feel this way? You know what I mean? Like, you have to say things and feel some type of way to say things.
So besides the health part, are there anything else that's important for you?
For me, it is safety. It is safety, the security of our economy. What are your plans to secure that, right? But also be very aware, right? And healthcare is securing it. As much as we believe it's not, it is. When you present better healthcare, you don't spend as much money with all that. You don't. Yeah. Pharmaceutical companies, yes, I get it. That's a huge business venture, which is what, Williamson is talking about, Marianne. She's talking a lot about that, right? There's a lot of different systems that we have in place when it comes to our healthcare and pharmaceutical companies that we are unaware of, right? If we keep the American people sick, we keep them paying.
Okay.
That's the truth, right? And so is it great? No, it's terrible, right? What happens is like, as much as people want to think population control and all that stuff, you're doing too much.
Okay. So you think healthcare trumps border security for the U.S.?
Okay. So I think that,
because I mean, I know where you said that healthcare takes care of the people inside, will save money within, but what about our border security, you think?
So border security, I think, is important, right? I think
especially
that
right now, right, with what's going on.
Where would you rank your
my level for that?
Yes. Okay. Where would you rank it? Would you rank, foreign policies up here, healthcare here, border security down here? Where would you rank your
foreign policies first and foremost, right? To me, on a business level, this is what he's doing. He's putting the business level amongst everything. The only reason why he's putting foreign policies amongst everything is because that actually raises issues, right? But here's the backlash of it. This is the U.S. Right? On an entire ideological level, right? Everybody in the U.S. is from a different country. Everybody is
But
not
everybody's
from the US.
American though, right?
Hold
when
on.
You become a citizen?
Everybody is from a foreign country. And the only people that are native to this land, which is written in a couple of the policies, right, is like, we have to really think about that. And it's bad because when I say that, it's weird because it's like, if I don't say that what he's saying is not relevant to a business aspect, then I'm not being sensitive to our business needs in the US. But the truth is everybody in this country is not from this country, and only 3% are. Native Americans. I
just want to share this. The U.S. southern border has witnessed a record of at least 6.3 million migrant encounters at and between ports of entry since Biden took office in January 2021. According to data from the Office of Homeland Security Statistics, resulting in more than 2.4 million migrants allowed into the country. I don't know if you've been paying attention to the what's going on at the Texas southern border, but the Biden administration just allowed open it up for all migrants to come in.
Right. So, as somebody
do you think that'll be an issue in the long run?
I think the reason why Trump chose that is because he's a businessman.
Well, not just Trump himself, but I'm saying,
even if
like,
Dean Phillips was in the
anybody
same place,
running for it, right?
And he's a Democrat, but Dean Phillips is a businessman, right? So Dean Phillips, if you guys don't know about him, he is a Democrat, right? And Dean Phillips is all of the money that came in to support him is people from private funding.
Yeah.
Right. And so really the truth is like, when it comes to those situations, right, it is money. And I've always said that it is money, right? And so when it comes to our economy, right, and you've said it before, we have to talk, take care of the people inside first,
Yeah.
right? But the truth is that people inside are the people from outside, and only 3% of the people inside are actually from here.
Well, for the most part, it's people inside that came here
legally.
But see, and this is why I
want to be here.
And this is why I say, when it comes to good and evil, right, it's perception.
What do you mean?
Because for you to sit here and tell me your ideology of that whole, if you literally felt like telling somebody else, like, I'll be honest right now, my mom and my dad aren't from here. They're not from this country. I am the first generation.
I know.
Right? Who am I to sit here and say, regardless of the money that's going out and going in, regardless of anything else, that can't be distributed out, that they can't have the same chances as me? And this is why I say the whole narrative of good and evil is perception, because what you're saying, what you're telling me right now, I think is immoral. But what you're saying right now is it's immoral to not take care of people inside.
But do you think those people who are coming over the border illegally have good intentions for our country?
We're saying,
and that's where the good and evil is, right? Because if they're going to destroy our country in the long run, inside, illegal immigrants.
But where are these immigrants from?
They're all coming through the border.
Yeah, all countries.
6.2 million. That's a crazy number. Even other countries don't allow that many people into their country.
Right.
No, I understand.
Illegally, but like illegally, right? You're letting people in legally. It's a whole different thing, right? They go through a background. They make sure that you're a security to our country, right? Make sure that we know where you're at. You're going to pay, your dues. And if you want to be a citizen, you do it the right way. But if you're coming in illegally, right? And we don't know where you're at, we're just throwing you in there. We don't know if you have good intentions for the country, right? So if we're talking about healthcare and all of that, if we're funding all of this in to our country, right, and we're funding these people who are coming in illegally, we lose money as citizens. Who's paying for it? Everybody's paying for it.
Yeah.
I'm paying for it as a citizen. Why am I paying for somebody who's not paying taxes?
I don't know if you guys saw, but I know in New York they were paying for the stays of all these refugees and immigrants. So I also know I forgot which state, so fact check me. But there's a state right now, I can't remember, I have to look it up, that they shut down a school so that way they shut down a public school, and told the kids you can just go do school virtually, like COVID.
Right.
So that way they can house immigrants. So now we're prioritizing immigrants.
I did see that.
Over our children's education system. So that's a problem.
Yeah,
so
that's a huge problem at that point.
Here's my question about that. In all of those people that happened to in the U.S., right?
That is New York.
How many of them were immigrants?
Say that
and
one
why
time.
how many of them were immigrants in that one instance that happened at that school? I'm not saying that that's right. I'm not saying that that's right at all. I'm saying that first and foremost, we should put education of everything. And the fact that our government allowed immigration to put it over was insane.
Yeah.
But the truth is there needed to be a policy, right? There's systems at place, a process, a policy, a petition to be signed by all parents for that to happen. So you know what happened? All those parents from all those kids are immigrants, and they signed that petition for those immigrants to come in. You think the government would do that without petition signing? No.
Yes.
Illegal. No, it's illegal.
Well, I don't know.
But if you think about it, all of the public
schools. I'm not saying it's right though.
No, but I'm saying all of the public schools who funds those?
But also in
but who funds?
Question,
no, but I'm saying who funds our public schools?
Who funds our public schools? We all understand that it's the government.
It's the government.
Correct.
All right. If the government wants to take something back,
They'll take it.
They'll
through a
take it
petition.
back,
They will take it through a petition.
petition or not.
And depending on who is in charge of that petition, now I'm not saying
But like
that
I'm
all of them
saying,
say
but like I'm saying,
yes or
the
no.
people that we are putting into office are the people who are doing these things, right? If we don't want certain things to happen, right, and we want our voice to be heard, why are we still putting these people in? And that's why I'm asking you, like,
And
where's the
with these
priorities? Where's the
people-
priorities when it comes to who you want in office?
But with these people that you're saying, these people, who are these people?
The people who we are putting into office, people who are we're putting into office
No, okay.
that are constantly making these mistakes and are constantly, having our crime rates go up, letting people leave jail, right? And not doing anything about it. We can write all the laws we want, but do we really want to live in a country full of laws that we can't do anything at all? This sounds to me like it's not a country at all. It sounds like a prison to me.
It's always been a prison. That's first and foremost. But here's my thing about the whole situation when it comes to immigration, right? I did work for PD at one point, and at a lot of points, there's a lot of DOGs, right? There's a lot of DOGs is like a description of policy when it comes to police work, right? Now, police work has nothing to do with immigration. It has a little bit, but the only thing that has stuff to do with immigration is FBI and a whole other section under FBI, right? So when you're talking about these crime rates, right, a lot of the times in the percentage rates, there's not anything out in the public to tell the public if these people are coming in for crimes or not. But there is a lot of like information saying how many of these people are coming into our public and whether or not it's going to be satisfying our economic, uprise or downfall or not.
Yeah.
Right. But all I can say about that is, like, when it comes to crimes, there's not anything that you can pinpoint on people in terms of like police.
Yeah.
Unless you go on county. In FBI, you can't access that.
Can we all agree that we can't have an open border, right?
No.
Of course not.
Of course.
No.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't believe in that.
Yeah. I mean,
Having
we
an
can't.
open border.
I don't believe that.
But that's what's happening right now. It's an open border right now.
Here's my thing. I don't believe that we should keep people from coming in the country, but I do believe that right now there's a process at hand that is not verifying whether these folks are secure, right? Safe, not in bad works of doing bad things for them to come in. So what we're focusing on right now is we're focusing on the wrong thing. We're focusing on immigrants. Don't let them in. But what we should be focusing on is the process. We have enough money in there when it comes to military work and even police FBI work for them to create a process where we can figure out whether they're good or not.
Well, there is a process already. No one's keeping these immigrants out. It's just they have to go through the process to come in here legally. Because there are thousands of immigrants that come into the U.S. legally. So, but they just don't want to come in and go through that process. So if you want to come to the U.S. legally, then you have to go through that process. But they're not doing it. They're trying to do it the easy way, which is just to come through the border. But then Biden is the Biden administration opened it up for everybody. They're allowing to come in.
Well,
And they're not tracking where these
And
people
also,
are going.
the Texas government's fighting against the federal government right now.
They're only doing that because it's upraising the economy, right? It's weird. The thing is they're not showing you the backlashes, and they're not giving better ideas when it comes to our laws, right? The reason why Democrats do that is because they understand that all the work that U.S. citizens don't want to do, unfortunately, is what the works that these immigrants will do.
Well, where are they
percentage,
paying?
right?
Where are they paying in our economy?
In terms of like janitorial work.
No,
in
but
terms of,
where in our economy is there proof that they're paying their fair share of taxes and their end.
Right. So what I just explained
How are we
to
tracking
you
that?
what I just explained to you recently is like when it comes to them, when you're putting all this like they're criminals on
I'm
them.
not saying they're
Well,
criminals.
I'm just saying like you're saying who are these people? Who are
Yeah, who
like,
are
as
they?
much as you're saying that they're criminals, as much as I can say that you can't say that, and as much as I can say that they're not doing that either.
But I'm saying
There's not an actual
we can't
I can't tell you that there is.
validate that when
your
they're coming
idea-
into this country,
the good and evil.
it's gonna be
the ideology is
in
the
good
and evil.
intentions.
And also, you have to think about. You also have to
It
think.
is. That's the ideology. You're
But I'm
thinking that
saying
these
if
folks are
they're
coming
coming in
because they're
and
evil, and I'm telling you that
Right.
these folks are coming in because they're not. That's an ideology.
yeah, but how do you know that they're not?
And how do
doing
you
these things?
know? Do you see what I'm saying?
That's
it's
what
the
I'm
same
saying.
ideology.
But I'm saying
Yeah.
we don't know.
But-
That's why
Right.
we need to
But-
keep
So
track
we
of them,
have
but
to-
we
so
can't
in
keep
your
track of them
mind,
if
we
they're
have to be
all just
negative
coming in
about
over.
it.
No.
No. But if you want to secure your country, you need to know the people coming into your country. If you don't know anybody who's coming into your country, how are you going to ensure the safety of the citizens in the country?
Correct. So wouldn't that really revolve around the process?
But we do have a process already.
Right.
There
What
are
is
wa-
the process?
There are ways. There are visas that you can apply for to get into this country. I did the same thing. I have a visa. Okay. So you have to go apply for the paperwork, apply through the U.S. government, and then wait till they approve it or not. That's the process.
Yeah.
Not a good enough process. The reason why I say it's not a good enough process is because
My
one,
mom, look, my
That's not-
parents came
that's not up
came
to
to this
them.
country the same way
well, I can't
everybody
tell you
else
my
came
process if you're not going to listen to it. My whole thing is the process is very simple, right? A lot of folks right now we're having an issue. The whole issue with Trump is like South America.
Hold on one second. I got a super chat. Shout out to you. Thank you so much.
here. Yeah.
Shout out to you, Player One, 499 super chat. Less than 2% of thousands of migrants in New York City applied for work permits. Explain this work ethic, please. All right. So because you're saying they work hard, but then he said that less than 2% of thousands of migrants in New York applied for work permits. So explain that. So that was his.
I'm not
thoughts.
sure what does that mean, that like people that are okay. When he says migrant, does he mean minority or minoritized?
Immigrants.
There's different.
Illegal
No,
immigrants.
No, there isn't. Minorities are people that come here with
He's
money.
not
to this
saying
country.
minorities. He's saying migrants.
The migrants that came from New
But
York
what
City.
I'm asking is, do you mean minorities, which mean migrant, or do you mean minoritized, which mean people that come here with no money?
Just migrants.
Migrants is
People who are
regardless-
migrating here.
Minorities. Then.
People
I mean-
who are migrating here
Yeah.
illegally. That's what he's trying to say.
Okay,
Less than
so-
2% of them are applying for work visas,
Okay.
and nobody's tracking what they're doing.
So basically, what he's saying is minoritized people, or he doesn't know whether they're minoritized
Just
or
illegal
No,
minorities.
they're legal immigrants.
Okay, are coming in this country for what? And where his sources? Where's his source? Show me your source, sir. I would like to know.
I mean, Google doesn't speak 100% facts, right?
Doesn't.
Well, thank you for the super chat anyway. But but let's
you.
continue. Yeah, continue the
But I
conversation.
believe it. I believe that there's a difference between minorities and minoritized. Minorities are they come here and they want a better life.
Right.
You see that in a
Which
lot of
is
the
my
Asian.
parents who came here,
Okay.
legally,
Yes.
right? Paid their dues.
Correct. I would say most Tongan people were like this, right?
Right.
Tongan people, we see Asian people, we see some Arabic.
Why can't it be
people.
everyone though?
Why can't it? Well, it's not.
My parents had to wait a long time for them to be able
Yeah.
to move here.
Yeah.
We can't allow everybody to come
Right.
in. The thing, because this is the thing. When you have a process, some people will get in, some people don't.
Yeah, some
It is
people
what
have
it
to
is.
wait a long time,
So
but having their family in
Yeah.
line at the same time,
yeah,
getting them ready for that change that they want these opportunities to happen to them. That's what it's all about. When they have the American dream, that's the American dream, to come to this country legally, right? To work up on the ladder,
Right.
right?
So for the most part, I understand. This is the reason why most of our communities are, in strong agreement with the policies that Trump has persuaded, our country into. But for the most part, I just feel like there's a better way. And I guess this is coming from a minority person, right?
Yeah.
I feel like we are, but really, in all honesty, coming here, we're minorities. We're not minoritized in some senses. In some senses, I don't know, maybe you are, and I don't know people like that. But like, for the most part, it's just a lot when I hear, for instance, right, Mexico, right? Let's just bring it out the bag, right? Like, how close is Mexico to the United States?
We're attached.
We're next to each other.
Correct. These are certain places where we don't need to do all that.
What do you mean do all?
Like, we don't have to put borders, because
Yes, we
really,
do.
through a historical,
It's a different country.
through a historical standpoint, and I understand, right? But like I said, it's the process. It's not the people. It's the process.
But is Mexico contributing to our country's wellness?
Do I need to answer that?
I mean, regardless of the process, we do have a process. That's the thing. There is a process.
Oh my God.
There is a process, and the thing is, this is the unfortunate reality. There are some families that they can't come in, and they want to work, but it is what it is. If you go through the process and you get approved, you get approved. You don't get approved, you don't get approved. You have to figure it. That's your problem. You have to figure it out. But we can't just allow everybody to come in, because the number one thing is, like you said, the security of our citizens.
Right.
So America is a superpower. We have a lot of enemies. There are a lot of terrorist groups that want to hurt America. So we can't just allow these people in, and because all it takes is one terrorist to come in and do something that can destroy thousands and hundreds of people's lives,
especially when we don't know where they're at.
Exactly. So that's the main concern. So it's the number one priority should always be the safety, well-being of the citizens that in the country, and everybody else is second or third, right? So the people that do want to come in, we do have a process. Every country has a process to come into their country, but you have to come in here legally. If you can't come here legally, then it is what it is. Right. So you have to figure that out. But
why our houses have four walls.
Allowing people to come in unchecked without any kind of vetting process, that's dangerous. Because and I hope in the Biden, the Democrats better. This is the worst.
What do you think the vetting process?
I'm just saying this.
Question.
The Democrats better hope to pray that nothing happens in the next 20 years when it comes to it. If a terrorist act happened in the next, say, 5 to 10 years, everybody's going to look back at this incident. That's why. This happened. Because exactly.
Do you believe
they want this to happen?
So can I ask your standpoint, since we're on this topic, terrorist?
Right.
So what do you believe a terrorist looks like? What do you believe a terrorist?
I don't care what they look like.
Yeah.
A terrorist is a terrorist.
Terrorist. Doesn't matter.
If you terrorize,
you
terrorize the citizens of this country, you are a terrorist.
So you don't think that the terrorists that did 9/11 wasn't from the U.S.?
I don't want to go into that 9/11.
Or
that's also
persuaded by U.S.
Let's not go into the 9/11 one. That's a whole different topic. Let's just stick to the Trump. Where immigration policy is one of the most important things that's been discussed between the two parties,
right?
Which is Democrats. But right now, the Biden administration opened up the borders, and so that's one of the main concerns, and that's the main things that both parties. Trump is saying that when he comes into presidency, he's shutting that down.
Yeah. I mean, we can even look at like different things that we had. We even was almost like self-sufficient with oil and that pipeline that we had going.
Yeah.
And then that got shut down. Now we're buying oil from other countries when we could have been self-sufficient.
Yeah.
Which is crazy, right? If you think about it, now the whole Russia-Ukraine thing happened. Now we're stopping oil from Russia, and Russia's like one of the biggest oil distributors, up in Europe, and it's just crazy.
Yeah.
Europe and Asia, they're all relying on Russia's oil.
Okay. I want to continue into a different topic, but are we done with the immigration one?
Yeah.
All right. Yeah.
I have my standpoints on it,
Yeah.
and I just feel like there should be a better process
Yeah, I
for
agree with
folks
that. Yeah.
don't have money that
Yeah.
want to come here.
I know.
I feel like
We can
we
always
should have
improve,
a
right?
process for
Right.
that.
We can always
you know?
improve. We can always
That's
improve.
all.
But you
But
can't
there is
just
a-
let people in.
Yeah, you can't just let
Yeah.
them in.
You
Of
can't
course
just
not.
let
I'm
people
not saying that that's what
Right.
should happen. I'm just saying that there should be a different process for people
Right.
that don't have money.
Yeah.
And if they need help to come to this country, it shouldn't be a big thing because there's a lot of minoritized folks here. I mean, this country took slaves from Africa to come here, right?
Yeah.
So we have to also understand that there's a reality here. So that's all I'm saying.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah, let me know in the live chat. Thank you so much. I see you guys on live chat. Northwest Stacker, Player One, John Wick. I see you guys and Mr. the DFW. I see a lot of Trump supporters here in the live chat. Appreciate you guys. Thank you so
Yeah.
much. Let me know in the live chats. You support Trump, you support Biden, you agree or disagree. And of course, if you want your voice and opinion to be heard, drop it through a super chat. I'll be able to read. I'll be able to read it and respond to you guys. And of course, this is a public show. So if you want to jump on and talk to us directly, there is a way. You can subscribe, become a supporting member of my locals. The link is in the description, and you'll be able to join us virtually like a Zoom call and talk to us directly. And I know a lot of you guys have strong opinions about Monica right now. So if you want to talk to Monica directly, click on that link and jump on and be part of
2024.
Don't persuade
and
them.
be part of our
great.
So I can tell
I
you
just
about the
want-
Dolphins.
yeah.
I can tell them about the Dolphins
be
again.
part of our
Is
conversation.
that what you should do? Tell them about the
Alright.
Dolphins.
I see you
This
guys.
is a great conversation already.
It would make them upset.
I
Just
see you
like
guys
it
on
make
the live
both
chat.
of y'all
I
upset.
see you guys on live chat. All right.
The Dolphins.
All right.
The Dolphins are just confusing.
That wasn't confusing. That's true.
All the MAGA out there. All the MAGA guys
22%.
out there.
That's a lot.
All right.
I still don't know what the 22%
yeah.
is about.
Yeah.
Of like mind.
Okay, let's not go
Intellect.
go down that hole. I want to talk about foreign policy. All right. Right now we're at war with Ukraine. I think last time I checked it was 200 billion has been sent to Ukraine. That's the last time I checked. I haven't checked it. All right. $200 billion. And we talk about a lot of the issues that we can't fund here in America, but we sent $200 billion to Ukraine. But yeah, what's your thoughts on Palestine? And we already know that America is pro-Israel, that's supporting Israel. So right now, I think America has allocated some of the resources to these wars. And I think that's I don't agree with that. I think the number one security and always should be us first before anybody else. But the Democrats and Biden administration are clearly going that route. And of course, we already know that Trump and of course the Republicans have made it clear. No, Nikki Haley. Nikki Haley wants to continue the wars. That's so I want to make that clear. But Trump has said that he doesn't want to engage in that. So so I want to I'll start with you, Joe, and then we'll go to Monica. But what's your thoughts about America being involved with the war and then with the candidates that we have potentially to be elected?
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm hoping for Trump again, 2024. But yeah, it's just why are we funding all of these wars when we should be taking care of our security at home first?
Yeah.
We got our borders open. We got, people just pouring in. We can't even keep track of them. Our inflation's going to the roof. And, people can't even pay rent now. They're moving out of our state. I mean, I live in California, but, I'm looking to move out.
Yeah.
I mean, I make good enough income to live here, but yeah, it's just crazy. I mean, it'll just turn into a point where there's nowhere else to move, and we won't have a country. I mean, if we are talking like, realistically, we're going to destroy ourselves from the inside.
Yeah.
Right. If we don't get things under control.
Yeah.
The war thing, they want the wars.
Yeah.
Right. That's how they're making their monies. All of these, big companies, and I know BlackRock is a big one. I know there's like two other ones I can't really think of right now, but they're pretty much funding all of these wars. The U.S. are funding all these wars, but I don't know why.
Yeah.
Right. I know there's a bigger agenda behind it, and I feel like, we need somebody back in office. Yeah, Vanguard, that's what it was.
Yeah.
Right. And I feel like we need somebody back in office who, will put all of these people back in check and, you know, continue to grow the U.S., right, instead of the other countries. We're losing billions.
Yeah.
Billions every day, just, you know, for no reason. But yeah, I mean, I feel like Trump, I think in my opinion, the reason why um, I want Trump to be president again in 2024 is because he has no one backing him, right?
Yeah.
He's spending his own money running these campaigns,
Hmm.
right? He's not taking any money. He doesn't even need to run for office, to be honest. The guy doesn't need to run for office. He can retire. But we need somebody who cares enough for the country to, you know, to actually run. You know, somebody who, you know, doesn't need to do it, but wants to do it, right? They want a better, they want America to go in the right direction, right? And I feel like Trump is right now the only candidate who I see will put us back where we were in 2020. I mean, 2016
Mm-hmm.
when he ran for president. So I'm looking forward to that.
Okay. All right. Thank you for sharing that, Joe. What do you think, Monica, about the foreign policy that we have right now and with the wars that we're supporting
Well,
and the money that we send overseas?
okay, so I'm never going to be for war. I have friends that are Palestinian. I also have friends that are Jewish, and a part of the Zionist movement. But I also feel like, for the most part, it's not about that. I think it's more so about the kids that are involved in dying, right? And that's not okay, regardless of whether we felt like they're American soldiers that are captured under underground place and so forth. And it's just a really awkward situation. But what I would probably be, I don't agree with what Biden has done, right?
Mhm.
But the truth is like, what Biden has done is what I would say any person that is his age would have done. Because I don't know if they understand that
I don't think
there are
Biden knows what
kids.
he's doing at all.
He's very old. But for instance, Dean Preston, I will speak on that because he has actually spoke with a lot of the people from, the Middle East when it comes to different corporations and leadership. So he understands that there's like this issue, right? And although he believes that like the citizens that are trapped right now still with the Hamas, right, should be back where they need to be, he also understands that like at the end of the day, it's like there are kids and people that are dying right now, and it doesn't have to happen this way. There should just be an agreement to humanity.
Right.
And I think I'll revert back to what the dolphin, right? The good and evil mindset. The reason why I speak on that is because a lot of the times what we're looking at, and you can see it right now in the society right now, if you drive down 101 South, you'll see like billboards talking about Hamas this, Hamas is your problem too. And then you'll see billboards like they're killing all these people, right? It's all this propaganda. Do you realize how much money is going into this war? Right? We don't realize how much money is going to this war because they're not saying about the Congo. They're not saying about all the other people that are dying. Oh no, but we don't have to care about them because they're not American. It's understandable. That's why I say good and evil is a perspective. It is a perspective. It's always going to be a two-way thing. It won't ever be a three-way thing. Humans can expand their mind to that, and that's what limits them. Because in this situation, that's what limits us. We are only trying to see it in two ways. And the truth is there's not a two-way thing about this, right? There's a one-way thing about this. People are dying and kids are too. And so I think I liked Gene Preston, and I liked his output about it, his stance on it. And like I said, I'm not pro-Democrat. I'm never going to be pro-Republican, either parties, because I think that in the wise words of Einstein, right? If you continue the same solution each time and don't get an actual solution, that's insanity. We've been practicing insanity for years and nothing has changed.
Well, we keep going back to insanity. That's the crazy thing.
And that's what I'm saying. Change, there needs to be change in our party system. We only have two. There's not an actual choice for others.
I don't think there should be a party system. I think we shouldn't have a party system. That's what was in our Constitution. And the party system started because two sides and the other, and people tagged along.
Yeah.
I feel like there shouldn't be a party system. I feel like everybody should run independent.
But notice
So
how
you're
they
not
kinda put
tied
that.
down.
Yeah.
So that way, a party.
Right. But notice how they try to play that. They try to this whole two-way system, the good against evil. Which one are you against, right? Either way, when you choose the Democrat or the Republican, right? It's a good against evil. It's always that dual ideology, right? It's that storyline. It's the navigation system that we have in our heads about things to make us choose things. That in itself is mental oppression.
Well, there's always good and evil in life.
I will beg to differ because it's all, for me, good and evil is perception. It is, and I can clearly give you a lot of examples about that in this conversation.
Right. Well, I can agree. Kids shouldn't die for no reason.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
we shouldn't have nonsensical wars in the first place.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I want to shift over to transgender rights. I think Trump has said that he will ask Congress to pass a bill establishing that only two genders as determined at birth are recognized by the United States. So he wants to pass that. But of course, that's always been the topic and debate between this gender war ideology and allowing children to choose their gender. And now we have multiple genders and we have multiple pronouns. What do you guys think about this new ideology about pronouns, gender, identifying? A biological man can identify as a woman can identify as a biological woman can identify as a man. Now we have separate bathrooms. That's already going into action. There's some stores and business places you can go now and they already have neutral bathrooms and a bathroom for transgender people. So we have biological men competing in women's sports, biological women competing in men's sports. So that's something that I know the conservative side, they want to stop all that nonsense. All right. Men are men, women are women. We stay in our lanes. But then, the more liberal side, Democrats, the more progressive side, they're saying that we need to be inclusive, right? Inclusive to everybody, include everybody, whether they want to identify as a female, identify as a male, they want to identify as a dog, doesn't matter. We have to include everybody and make sure everybody is respected and treated fairly. So what do you guys think about that, Monica? The rights, the transgender rights, and this battle that we're fighting today with America. What do you think about that?
Well, I identify as a dolphin. I'm kidding.
That's okay.
I'm kidding. I think
That's
it's
fine.
funny. But here's my thing. I don't feel like, okay, so there's two things, right? I feel like for the most part, when it comes to like bathrooms, right? Again, it's a system. Men have an issue, right? It's not even women. Like, we don't care if like a butch woman comes into the bathroom with us. We're like, okay, you want to dress up like a woman? I'll dress up like a man. Okay, you can use our bathroom. Come in, right? But the thing is, it's like if that butch woman goes into a male's bathroom and they actually think that that's a male.
Wait, a butch woman is what?
A butch, like we're talking about transgenderism, right?
Yeah, I don't know what that means.
A butch woman would be a woman trying to look like a man, right?
Also, it's a biological woman.
Oh,
Correct.
like
Because
a
we're
butchie.
so
Hawaii, they
fixated.
call that butchies.
Yeah, we're so fixated, right? We're so fixated on the man looking like a woman. We're too fixated on that. We're not looking at another part, which is why I say we're not very intelligent creatures because we can only do a two-way fix, right? So the thing is like, okay, so a woman that dresses up like a man and she looks like a man.
Yeah.
She walks into a fucking bathroom, a bathroom, into a man's bathroom, and they're like, oh my God, this is a man, right?
Yeah.
They don't care. They don't care.
The men don't care.
No,
Wait.
because they think that that's a man.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? They think that that's a man. Okay, so now let's reverse it, right? Now it's a man who's fucking 6'4", 6'2", walking into a bathroom
Yeah.
with women dressed like a woman.
But there's a logical reason why the men don't care, right?
Is there? Oh, hold on, because I'm not finished yet.
Yeah.
But all of a sudden, women are like, this and that. Personally, I think it's funny because it's like
No, it's funny for
Funny.
the women.
it's funny
or
for some women. It's funny,
For the
Well,
person.
it's funny until it happens to you.
right? I've seen it. I think it's funny when that happens. And to be honest, it was weird. But here's the question: where was the bathroom for the transgender? Where was that bathroom? I don't think that would be safe for that man to walk into a man's bathroom dressed like a woman. You know why? Hate crime.
Wait, why can't the man just go into the man's bathroom and the women go into the women's bathroom?
That's fine. But
Dressed
are
like
men,
a woman and dressed like a man.
No, but our men, that's not how life is. But our men, I don't mind that either. I think that really.
No, but
Well-
why can't they if they want to feel accepted, right?
Can I ask this?
If
for
they're
a
not being
minute?
accepted
You're
by the
cutting me
guy,
off.
I'm just saying, why can't they use the same bathroom?
They can. Okay, they can. But what I'm asking is the change of clothes, right? The change of dress. They're just dressing up like a woman and they're going into the man's bathroom, right? Are they safe to do that? And the answer is no.
But that's a guy.
But it's a guy.
That's
Well,
a guy walking in there. Yeah, the
Into a
guys.
man's bathroom?
Guys will be guys.
Well, would you guys feel safe for a 6'4", 6'2" man dressed up as a woman walking into the man's bathroom and going to the bathroom?
As a woman.
I wouldn't
As
care.
a man. He's a man, but he's a transgender.
Wait,
Would you feel
wait.
He
safe?
dresses up a woman?
Yes.
I don't care.
I don't care.
So
you can
you
use the
wouldn't
bathroom.
care.
You're
I wouldn't
another
care.
dude.
It's not a guy.
Great. So you're okay. You wouldn't hit him or like
No, it's just like how
know?
women go into the same bathroom dressed as a dude.
Look, what's happening is
It's the same thing.
there's probably like a couple cases out there that there's like a hate crime, and then we use that to umbrella that all the experiences of guys. I'm gonna be serious. Most guys, we just go in there, we don't really look
Yeah.
left or right. We don't care. I'm just here to use the bathroom, especially a public bathroom.
Yeah.
We don't really care.
Right.
Now, are there people out there that may have some kind of
Hate crime.
hate feelings towards that?
Yeah.
Yeah, but and then those reports come up. But we talk about 98% of men. We don't care.
Are we saying 98%? Because I actually thought that it was about close to 70.
What do you-
So there's a good percentage of men that would be bothered by it.
Where did you get this?
Let's just go on.
Is
let's
it
go on
Google?
Wait. Didn't you
Let's
just
go
say?
on Google.
Didn't you just say?
I don't know.
Didn't you just say-
10% of Google is
Let's
safe,
just go
right?
on Google
But didn't
because
you- but
I
didn't-
feel like that's where you go.
Monica, but didn't you just say you
Yeah,
can't
you
trust?
said you can't trust
online
Google.
sources?
Exactly, but that's where you go. So go.
But now you're
can't-
contradicting
We
yourself.
we
Go
can't
if you
use.
want to go on Google.
I'm not gonna
We're
go
not
on
going to
Google
go on Google.
because
You're the one
You
that
you
needs
said that
to
we
be
can't trust
defended.
online sources.
Okay. Go on
Oh.
CDC.
No, we're not going to CDC. I'm just saying. I'm not disregarding. There are,
I can only go where you're comfortable.
there are some men out. There are some men out there, but for most men, we don't care. We just go there,
No.
use the bathroom.
Yeah.
If I've had transvestites come into the bathroom when I'm going to the bathroom. I don't
And you
care.
don't care.
I don't care. I'm just
See,
trying to
and
use the
that's
bathroom
not
and
all
go.
men, though.
But that's the thing. This
That's why I'm saying another bathroom.
I would even say this is 99% of men.
99% of men.
Yeah, we might be like, oh shit, it's kind of weird, but who cares, right? We're just there to use the bathroom. right?
But you
On
know,
the other side, women will be women. They're just like, she's just like a dude. But most of them don't
do you
care
know why
either.
guys don't care? Because we're physically strong. We can defend ourselves. The reason why women care more, because if it's a biological man dressing up as a woman, that biological man is gonna be stronger than most women in that bathroom if he decides to do something.
Probably all the women in that bathroom if he's
Right.
That's what I'm saying.
6'5".
So that's why it's more concerned to the women than the men. Like we don't. I'm 6'3". I don't care.
All I'm saying is this: my whole thought process on that is, for one, when it comes to the bathroom situation, let's have a bathroom for them always.
No.
Yes.
You- now
always
just
have
have-
a
now you're
bathroom.
setting-
Now
you're setting a
we're
precedent.
wasting money.
Now you're setting
Again.
a precedent. It's about.
Well, what can I say about that? I feel like that's like a male ideology here.
No, because there's only two genders, male and female. Now, why we also removing the accountability in that person. Nobody's saying that you can't dress as a female or a male. But if you decide to dress that knowing there's only two bathrooms, then you have to figure out a way to either just use the bathroom at home, use the bathroom at work, maybe not go to the public bathrooms if you know that's going to cause uncomfortability with the gender you're going to go into. So if you want to look, I can dress up as a female if I want to. But if I go into a bathroom that's full of males, dress up as a female, I have to understand that that's going to it might cause some uncomfortability. So what can I do to avoid that? Maybe I'll just use the bathroom at home. Maybe I'll use the bathroom at work. But don't go to a public bathroom.
Yeah. Or don't care at all and just go use the bathroom.
Or don't care at all. but we're not gonna start spending millions of dollars and making and building bathrooms specifically for all
We
transgender.
must.
And they might,
That's
and that even might
fine.
cause an issue because now you have two separate genders going in there.
But the thing is, once we do that, that's my problem. Is when we're setting a precedent, right? Now, but what happens if there's another group that wants to identify themselves? You know, if we made a bathroom for transgenders, now we have to make a bathroom for lesbians. Now we have to make a bathroom for this, for this, for this, for this.
So you feel like it's gonna be a domino effect?
Yeah, like where do we stop?
It's already a domino
where do we
effect
stop?
now.
Where are we going to draw the line? Because if we're making one group exclusive for transgender, then that's going to create the lane for everybody else to say, "Hey, I want my own bathroom because I identify." Say the 10,000 people in America that identify as a dog. Hey, since the transgenders got a bathroom, all 10,000 of us came together and we want our own bathroom, and because we identify as dogs.
All right.
Where do we stop?
Right.
So I don't know.
Yeah, and also Instagram isn't as inclusive as you might think.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah, I try to identify as a war tank, and it wouldn't let me do it.
No.
It said she or he.
Oh.
I don't know what it was.
All right. Player one, shout out to you, man. Super chat. We lost it. We really have. We live in a world where we can't establish what a woman or man is. Men can get pregnant, and Miss USA has an Adam's apple. Man,
Oh.
shout out to you, man. Thank you so much.
That's true.
Yeah. Well, the new Miss USA is female, right?
Was there
I
a
don't know.
last
I don't know.
USA that
Let me
wasn't
check.
female?
Yeah, the last Miss
But some of
USA,
them
I
be
believe,
very
was a man.
beautiful. But
Oh,
then
yeah,
again,
I remember
look
hearing
at
that.
it
It's a
in
Miss USA, you know.
it's a comedy for me, but it's not a comedy for men. But then again, it's like, don't go to Thailand because there's lady boys there, and a lot of them look like straight up women.
But in
no.
Thailand is different because they
there we
know
go.
they're men.
Cataluna represent. I'll share it with you guys. Chrome. Cataluna.
Really?
There you go. Cataluna. Enriquez. Oh, damn.
That's major. That looks like a fucking woman.
That looks like
what?
a woman. Damn.
And
After
you wouldn't
being bullied as a kid, I became the
wouldn't
first
even know if
transgender
that went
woman
to the
took a peek at
bathroom.
the Miss USA pageant. What do you guys think on the live chat?
But they don't all
That's
look like that.
major.
Yeah, that's probably like the best one I've seen so far.
That's top. Well, yeah.
But you know, that's the biggest disrespect for all the women who are born women and they're competing.
That's not a disrespect.
That is.
No, it's not.
That is.
It's
I
like
mean, you're a woman in a woman's, it's like you being a man. And
I don't know. I just feel like they've done so much to be a woman that's how much they
So
love
those women, so the women
So
who've been
the other
women their whole
women-
life haven't done anything at all.
No, I'm not saying that, but you could never sit there and be like, I need to like look at that and get upset about it. I'm not going to do that because the truth is like this person has like spent all their entire money, their life trying to be a woman. And there's a reason for that. For the most part, this person probably was raised by a single mother and doesn't have male influence.
Oh, we don't know that.
Well,
Go ahead and look that up and you'll see that.
but it's you can't.
But how do you know?
We can't trust Google.
There's a huge, you can look on research. If you look at research articles and you look at actual studies, you can trust that.
Wait, online studies?
Research studies,
Oh,
not online studies.
Oh, from the internet or from like?
Look,
You
I
have to
wish I
go-
had all of those filing cabinets where they keep all of those facts here, so we can just pull it
Pull
out.
it up instead of
But
going
we
online.
can't. That's why
Well-
we have Google.
Well, no, for
We
that
get 50-50.
situation,
For that situation.
for that situation, you could go on
But not ours.
CDC. You could go on CDC. Well, that's because that's the information they want to give.
Yeah,
What is that? That's in
Cataluna,
You know,
Enriquez.
Enriquez. No, but it's unfair for all those women who are born women and they want to compete in a woman category.
that's
But now we're allowing men to come
fair.
invade into their space.
That's not unfair. That's actually kind of funny, kind of weird, but kind of cool and kind of funny.
Why don't they have their own pageant? Since they want their
have
own
that.
bathroom, have their
Yeah.
own
I
pageant.
mean, it's the same thing with the sports, right?
You know,
The biological males who are transitioning into a woman, they go compete in the female sports, and they're just whooping the shit out of all the females.
Oh my God, I've
Right.
seen that before. Dude,
Right.
this one girl was so mad.
Yeah.
She was like, and they beat me because they were 6'5". And I'm like,
Yeah.
well, yeah, because they're fucking,
That's unfair.
yeah, their knee to their ankle is longer than yours. Why
That's what I'm
wouldn't
saying.
it be?
All these women have been women their whole life and,
Right.
and putting in the work and competing and putting in and training as a woman, only to go out there now she has to compete against a man. That's unfair,
It's a lot.
right?
it's not like WWE where you can plan it. It's like actual combat.
Yeah. So that's why we can't have that. Like I said, if we start making transgender bathroom, that's gonna trickle all the way in other
Right.
aspects of society like this. You know, Cataluna Enriquez.
That's a beautiful woman. Or I don't know what they want to be.
Okay.
Should move to Thailand.
As she
Yeah.
should. 'cause
Compete
you
there.
can get a lot of. Well, she won here, so that doesn't matter.
I mean, but let's take it back to the topic itself. I mean, do you guys believe there should be only two genders? I know Joe believes
of
that
course,
only
two
two
all the
genders.
way.
What about you, Monica?
It's too confusing.
I mean, to be honest, like I don't want to like. I mean, I think that there are predominantly just two genders. Like there's just two genders predominantly in our race of humanity.
Yeah.
Right. So therefore, that's what it is. I think that if it makes females uncomfortable with males being in the bathroom, it's because there's trauma there and they've been, assaulted. And
So they should seek help.
To seek help.
Yeah.
No,
they should seek help.
no, it's not that. I just think that in order to solve a problem, we don't have to change ourselves. We have to change our system.
Let me
You
just
can't change the system just for,
Just read the super chat real quick. 499 player one. We have folks identifying as transabled. People are choosing to identify as handicapped. FML, I didn't know
That's
that.
real.
How do you know
No,
that?
he's right about
You
that.
watched that one show?
See,
Yep,
see what
he's
happens.
right about that.
See what happens when you open up Pandora's box. When you open up
I
Pandora's
don't
box.
like that. I don't like
That's
that.
what happens when you
What
start
if
doing that.
my
what if
mom
people
is
just start
really-
jumping off of buildings thinking they're airplanes?
Yeah, but like I said, how are we gonna stop somebody? Hey, you can't identify as disabled
Right.
because we allow men to identify as women.
Well, I'll tell you one thing right now, and actually, it happened back in 2015. So, in Michigan University, there was a bunch of MPH students, and the policy is still in overviewing, and people are still trying to, But basically, it deems pedophilia as being a mental illness.
It is.
It
That's
is
bad.
Well, here's my thing. if it's a mental illness, that means that people that are pedophiles that actually do things to children won't be able to go to jail.
Wait. Pedophilia is a mental illness?
Yes.
This is wrong.
Right. Well, they're deeming it legally. If you deem it legally, that
It's
means
a crime.
Yes, that means it's no longer a
mean,
crime.
It's not a mental illness.
Yeah, it's no longer a crime.
It's like somebody's preference.
Right. It's like their preference. It's their mental illness. So what will happen is these people will go to a mental institution for 8 years and then be released.
Well, I disagree with that.
I think they should.
I
just be put down.
disagree with that. I disagree with that. I'm not entirely.
No, there's a group out there.
Disagree with that.
I saw 3-4 years ago.
Yeah.
There's a group out there that they come together as a conference and saying that they believe that they're just their kids trapped in an adult's body.
I'm dead. I don't want to do that.
Because you know how we can identify as a male and female? They're saying that they can identify as a kid.
Yeah, weren't they gonna do some trying to legalize like the
I gotta bring up if I can find it. I can.
Yeah.
I have to.
I remember we was talking about it that one podcast we had. It was a while back.
It was a while back.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, that's why. So I mean, so what's your stance? 2 genders only?
Okay, so like I said, like we can't control people. We can control people whatever they want to do, but I just don't want people to like fight or like get killed. Cause like we have facilities in our community.
Yeah.
That's mean. I mean, they can fight because a lot of them are big.
Yeah, I mean, nobody's
like,
when we say 2 genders,
Right.
nobody's saying that we're not gonna respect them or treat them any different.
Of course not.
Right.
If you want to act that way, we have facilities in our culture, right? Doesn't
Right.
matter to us.
I don't
Yeah.
care.
But
Just don't push it on.
But they stay in their lane.
Yeah.
They don't try to enforce their beliefs in me.
Yeah.
To make it normal for everybody else. Like, no, it's not. I mean, if you want to be Fakale D, but you can't go tell me and everybody else to convince
Yeah.
everybody that we can be Fakale D too.
Yeah. Don't tell me a woman is not a woman and a man is
Yeah.
not a man.
Yeah, to me, like I'm like, because it's okay. I don't know how to explain it, but it's like you being around a woman that's trying to act like a guy so much that you're like you think it's like funny, or like it's like interesting. Like it's kind of like that in a sense because I'm like, you want to be a woman.
Yeah,
you're
but
you're like a man.
The difference between those two though, like the fakalaitis that we have in our culture, they know they're men.
Yeah, they
Right.
know. Yeah,
Yeah.
And the tomboys, the girls who act like
Tomboy.
that guys, the tomboys, they know they're women.
some of them get married and start families.
Yeah. We've
and
seen a
some
lot of them.
Fakale Ds change later and they get married and start families as well.
Yeah.
Oh,
It always happens.
Yeah, it
I
happens.
mean,
Sometimes.
what
but
is that?
they understand, like
I have one.
they understand their gender and what they are.
Okay.
They're not trying to force somebody else to, bend to their, mindset and what they believe.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, no one's saying that we're not gonna mistreat them or treat them any differently. We're just saying don't enforce that
Yeah.
to make that the norm for everybody.
Mhm.
Like there's male and female. If you want to do something different, that's cool. But don't try to normalize that and influence everybody to believe in what you believe in, which is different from everybody else.
Yeah. No, I'm definitely looking at it from a
Yeah.
whole different perspective.
But a lot of times,
Yeah.
what they like to do is take the extreme. Of course, there's always going to be cases of people with such hatred towards them and beat them up. And It's
Right.
going to get
Yeah.
reported, and they're going to use that on the media. See, this is why we need to change the law. No, that's one person out of, there's like probably like 1%, less than 1% of people
Yeah.
out there that feel that way.
yeah.
But majority of people like, look, it's only an issue if you try to force it against me.
Right.
If you just stay in your lane, we're good. Right. But okay, so we all agreed there's only 2 genders. I think this is the first thing we agreed on so far on the panel.
Of course.
Male and female.
Yeah.
Okay, and then and shout out to everybody, all the biological males and biological females out there. Shout out to you guys staying true to yourselves. What do you guys think about the pronouns?
Yeah, even that's got to stop.
That's gotta stop. It's the same thing. If you want me,
It's the
if you want,
same thing.
if you want me to call you a certain pronoun, just tell me, hey, I prefer you to call me this, but you can't force me as a law that I have to say this to everybody. Now you're going against my right of free speech.
Right. And what if you say it to the wrong person thinking, oh, I thought you were
you seen those Instagram
thing.
videos?
What the? How many pronouns are there?
I don't know. I'm gonna just start calling everybody that thing. That thing.
Hey, you say like just say.
But it's just it's dumb. Like him, her.
And that's my issue. That's my biggest issue with that is the government is violating my free speech. Like you can't force me to say a word. Now, if you like I say, if you want to be called that, just tell me, hey, I prefer to be called that day. Okay.
Yeah. What happened to getting to know people's names?
Yeah.
But
What happened to that?
We also
There,
have to
everybody's
realize.
so hooked up on like
No, the reason why
the pronouns thing.
the pronouns thing came after once we started allowing people to identify as as anything they wanted to be. Because now if I'm a male, I identify as a female. Now you can't address me as he, because in my mind I'm a female, so you have to address me as a she.
Right. But like I'm saying, like whatever happened to like getting to know somebody's name? You know, forget the pronouns.
Bless you.
Like forget the pronouns, right? Whatever happened to like you asking somebody for their name, and that's where you go off of, right? Versus the whole pronoun thing is just. If I want somebody to call me by my name. That's it.
Yeah. I mean, it's hard, but it's also kind of like, I don't know, like if you don't know somebody, then I mean, for the most part, if like a guy was dressed up as a girl, I'd be like, hey girl, you know what I mean? Because obviously I think you want me to call you a girl, but what if he doesn't? You know what I mean? What if he doesn't want to
That's
call me a
why
girl?
it's so confusing. But then also at the same time, like if I don't know somebody's name, it's always, hey, what's up, bro? I was like, hey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's, hey.
You saw that video? If I can find it. The video of the, you know how the baristas at a Starbucks, and then a customer comes in, and the clothes they're wearing is like a male, so he addresses them as a male, and then they get upset of being addressed as a male, and the guy's like, "Well, you look like a male." How do I know? I mean, how the hell do I know your pronouns? And let me find that video. That's why it's stupid to me.
Yeah, and then you got to ask every single person every time what your pronouns, so then you can
when we meet each other, we are gonna identify each other based on what the characteristics of your biology. So if you look like a female, in my mind, okay, I'm gonna call her a she, or if you look like a male, call him a he. But if you're a stranger and somebody calls you at a pronoun that's wrong to you, you can't get upset with a stranger because they don't know who you are.
You didn't call me a dolphin.
It's like the entitlement mentality.
Yeah.
That's why it's annoying to me. This entitlement mentality that you expect everybody to know your pronoun.
Right.
I mean, honestly, my intern that I had, and I'm probably gonna have an intern again this coming up semester. They're also, in the whole. Well, they identify as a she. But they don't care if people identify them as he or whatever, at the workplace.
Yeah, it shouldn't matter.
Because they understand. You remember Hubert?
Yeah, I had to figure out like what that person was.
But Hubert's funny. Hubert is my favorite for sure.
Let me find it.
Oh, was it the one with the ma'am?
No, it was at a restaurant, and the guy.
They were getting mad. I think you know what you're talking about.
No, it was wrong. Airline. I think it was an airline. I think maybe not a not a barista.
Oh, was it that one?
No, it's this one. There you go.
Oh yeah.
Oh, the epic meltdown.
The guy was like, "Look, I'm just doing my job. You're causing too much of an issue with something so small. Like if you're making this an issue, I'm not gonna let you on the flight." Let me play it.
Yeah, I seen that one too. That was a Delta.
Oh, is this an SFO?
No, it's Atlanta, I think.
Let me play it. There you go.
I think it's Atlanta.
Thousands of
New
LGBTQ
York.
activists are calling for the boycott of Delta Airlines because of this interaction.
And what about when a Delta employee misgenders you intentionally?
While he's talking, you're talking.
You just misgendered me again.
Okay.
Multiple times. Both of you have.
Sorry.
Wasn't intentional, but if you want to take it personal, that's also.
Well, she did do it intentionally twice.
You're talking to me too.
You said she and then you said he.
You're being condescending, and if you want to continue,
Ooh.
I have full authority to escort you out the building right this moment. If you want to play that game with me, would you like to continue 3 days before Christmas? I really don't mind.
I'm good. I'll just put this on.
The trans person in the video has now been identified as Tommy Dorfman, an actor in the TV show 13 Reasons Why, who's close friends with the Woman of the Year, Dylan Mulvaney, attempted to expose the Delta employee only for it to backfire massively. However, people are now scared the guy actually might get fired because Delta is extremely woke and pushes LGBTQ ideas like no tomorrow. Join me on Discord to talk about it.
Like
Thousands of LGBTQ activists
Corporations are all LGBTQ, most of them.
Yeah, but why would they fire the person for trying to do
Well, the
his
guys
job?
are like the guy looks like a guy, so he's addressing me as a guy, and he gets mad. Oh, why you misgender me? How do I know your pronouns?
Well, did we look how he was dressed?
You just showed a picture of him.
Yeah.
He was just dressed like a
dude.
regular guy, but that was just a regular guy picture. But what if he was dressed as a woman?
Well, I want to take it as face value that because he saw him and just dressed him as a he.
Yeah,
Right.
Or maybe he just looked like a dude with a dress on.
Yeah.
right.
And then the guy's like, I don't know who you are. I'm gonna assign a gender to what I see biologically in front of my face.
Yeah.
But now people gonna lose lives, they lose their job over this stupid. Come on, man.
I'm glad I didn't have to deal with that when I was working for airlines.
That's terrible.
Right.
Yeah.
It was just
Has
drunk people.
that ever happened to you guys where you guys met somebody in public and you misgendered them and they got upset at you?
No, this
No.
was before the whole gender thing.
Yeah.
No, I just
I was just kicking people off for being drunk.
when I see like a girl dressing like a guy, I just be like. But when I see like a guy dressing like a girl, I just be like, "Hey, girl."
Yeah.
I don't know. I just yeah.
Yeah.
I think most of those people are narcissists.
I just feel like the whole LGBTQ, whatever, the rest of the RSG. Wow.
There's more letters to it.
Right. Well, I don't know. The whole alphabet's just rearranged.
They're trying to take
That's
the
what
whole
they are.
alphabet.
Just say the whole alphabet just rearranged.
Now you gotta save M
Scramble.
for males.
Just call it
You
Scrabble.
can't take the M. We're males.
No,
Right.
I
Just
must.
call it Scrabbles, and that's it.
not the Scrabbles.
I don't know.
But yeah, I mean, it's just way too much. It's just way too much stuff they're trying to push on, and
Okay.
it's too much.
All right. But for the sake of time, we're gonna conclude the pod. But I know we had a lot more to cover, but I know we spent the first hour trying to
Trying to figure it out.
figure out my
Yeah.
computer. I know we had some computer issues in the beginning, but at least we got a chance to come and start this conversation and get the ball rolling, get the show going. And as always, thank you so much for everybody in the live chat. I appreciate you guys. Like every single Friday, we're gonna talk about politics, social issues, pop culture, things going on into the world. Like I told you guys before, I mean, I do really care. I do really care about politics now. I've been listening to it. I do really care about the direction of our for society, what I see that I highly disagree with. And I'm the type of person that if I see something that I disagree, I'm always the type of person to be proactive and do something about it. I'm not like the people on social media who complain about the very things that they do nothing about
Right.
online. So I appreciate you guys as always. You guys already know, you guys been following me. I have very strong value systems, especially when it comes to men. I think as men, our job as provider protectors, we have to fight with what we believe in. And that's what makes you a man, that we can stand by our beliefs, even when the whole world goes against us. You know, that takes bravery to do that. And I think we need more brave men out there. And if you want a good society, if you want good morals and values in our society, that's going to take brave men to stand up and say, hey, that's good for us. This is bad. We're not going to accept this. but we cannot become a society that just accepts everything, just same way as our border. We can't just accept everybody.
No.
At some point, we have to draw the line and say, look, this is the standard if you want to come in. And I'm kind of worried. I'm not gonna lie, guys. I'm kind of worried about America, where it's going, because I think one of the things that I saw this quote online on a podcast is America is a technological giant, but a moral dwarf, which means our morals is being destroyed.
Yeah.
Like we're doing good.
Trampled on.
Everything, like money, resources, we're doing really well. But when it comes to the morals of society, it's decaying. And I
There's
think
no set morals anymore for the U.S.
yeah, exactly. So, and I think if that happens, I think it's gonna eventually collapse. If people are just doing whatever they want, and I'm concerned. So that's why I'm dedicating a show every Friday, and I want to talk about the election. I think I think this year is going to be a very important year as far as the elections, because right now I think America is messed up right now. Yeah, so we need change immediately, especially with Biden. The last 4 years with Biden, it's been very unproductive.
It might continue.
You're right. So it might. That's why that's what I'm saying.
We need.
Look, it's already bad now. It's only if this continues, it's only going to get worse. So we need change immediately. We need improvements immediately. We cannot go what we just went through the last 4 years. We just went through COVID. Who would have thought about COVID? This is what's going to happen. Whether the government can just shut down everything, that we can't go to work, and we have to wear masks. It sounds like a sci-fi movie to me.
Yeah.
But it actually happened in our lifetime.
Yeah.
So there's even talks about them bringing back vaccines and shutting the government down, but they know they can't do it again because people already have the information that the vaccines was a hoax. It wasn't really. It was just it didn't really make a difference whether you had the vaccine or not. So yeah, thank you so much, Monica. Thank you so much for Joe for making the time to come on. I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. I see player 1 on the live chat, Mr. at DFW on the live chat. Thank you, BL17. I see you guys in the live chat. And who else? Northwest Stacker. John Wick, I see you in the live chat. Thank you so much. All right. I know we're all going to share our different opinions, whether you agree or disagree. But at the end of the day, we're just here to have a discussion. I think that's important. Nothing's perfect. There's always going to be problems. But if you want to solve those problems, it's going to start with the conversation to figure out a solution. If we try to avoid the conversation or we try to cancel people,
right,
that's why we can't get things done. And that's when we shift from a democracy into a dictatorship, right? So that's one of the great things of America. We have rights. We have amendments, and I think it's important for all of us to speak up on these things, because if we don't speak up, then the government can literally do anything. I mean, 2020 was scary to me because they literally just shut down everything.
They shut everything down.
Yeah.
I mean, I was still flying. I went to Miami twice.
Yeah,
and,
that's what I'm saying. But you can see how far the government have control over society. They can just dictate anything, and a lot of people suffer financially. A lot of small businesses shut down.
Right.
We can see in San Francisco right now, all these businesses are starting to shut down and
the mall's done. Westfield Mall's no longer.
Yeah, Westfield Mall's down.
And that's crazy because a lot of these small businesses were the lifeline for those communities.
It's sad.
And now it's gone.
Yeah, it's sad.
Yeah.
They're not coming back.
So that's why it's important for us to talk about these things. And I appreciate that's why I'm excited to continue on my Friday night show. On next Friday, make sure you guys tune in. Me and Monica will be interviewing
District 4 in San Mateo County. We have a James Collin that will be with us.
Yeah, James Collin is the mayor of South San Francisco.
Correct, and they're only 24 years old.
24 years old, so he's going to come in.
The youngest mayor.
To the studio. He's going to come into the studio next Friday, and we're going to have some political conversations with him.
Correct.
And that's having conversations directly with the politician.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be good to have him on the podcast.
And also, I just felt like with Dean Phillips, right? I think it's important for all politicians to be like a district supervisor for a county first, so they fully understand how it is to connect to a community that's smaller than to connect with a bigger community, whether it comes to capital state. And then, like there's like these like levels. So it's not that I don't think that Marianne Williamson is great. I think I will always support women in going into policy, but I would also like to see where the work is.
Yeah.
In
Right.
terms of policy.
And thank you so much for all the super chats. Player One, man, thank you so much for all your super chat donations. Appreciate you. You were going hard on the super chats. Appreciate you for all your super chats, and thank you for all your facts that you got from Google online. But nevertheless, appreciate you guys. But let me pass it to my guests. What's your final thoughts for tonight's conversation, and how can people find you if you want to be found? I'll start with you, Joe. Joe, thank you for making the time. Thank you for the open conversation. How can people find you, and if you want to be found? But go ahead, Joe. What's your final thoughts?
I actually don't want to be found. I like my life as it is. I don't need everybody following me.
Yeah.
But if you want to follow me, I am on Instagram if you can find me.
Okay.
But other than that, final thoughts. I mean, just try your best to be a good person every day. Try to help people as much as you can, and live your life the way you want to live it.
Okay.
That's all I gotta say.
All right. Thank you so much, Joe.
And save the U.S.
Save the
please.
U.S.
Trump 2024.
God bless
I'm dead.
America. What's that? I gotta play that song when Trump walks in.
Oh yeah. Which
Is
one?
there a Trump rap song? No.
No, it's an old rock song.
Yeah.
It's God bless America.
God bless. I think that there was a few. There was a
Yeah.
few on his rallies. That was good.
I don't know. That gets me pumped when I hear that. Like, God bless America.
God bless America.
God bless America. But anyways,
Mhm.
I'll pass it to you, Monica. Monica, thank you so much for coming on. Whether we agree or disagree, appreciate it. But what's your final thoughts from tonight's discussion, and how can people find you, Monica? Oh, and if you want to respond to the guys that were talking to you on the live chat, you can respond to them as well.
Okay, so final, discussion or whatnot. I just think that you have to do your research. We are in the United States, so a lot of the times going to Google, you cannot find everything and anything that's an actual truth in terms of money, right? In terms of money and in health, there are certain situations where you can find different factors. But for the most part, when it comes to the Democracy or the Republican Party, I mean, if I were to pick from the Democrat Party, would probably be Dean Phillips. One, because this gentleman pretty much has private funders, which could be a good thing, could be a bad thing. We all saw the Epstein list. We get it. But also, it could just also be that this person wants to do well and do well for the country. Also, 55 is not a bad age. On top of that, it looks like they were a district supervisor for the city that they were from. So that's also a really good thing as well. So I would say that, like, in picking candidacies, you definitely want to pick people that have experience because they know what government is and how government works. And as far as Trump goes, I don't really know a lot of government stuff that he's done. So it would never be my first choice, but I think
Google
anything
him.
at this point.
Well,
I think you'll be
he's
surprised.
been he was the last president. That's all the experience.
I didn't go, it went okay, but it didn't go so well for him either. So I think for the most part, I think you just have to do your own research and, stay alive. So, yeah.
Okay. All right.
Right.
All right. No worries. It's one question before we conclude. Would you ever vote for Trump?
No.
Okay.
Think about it.
Okay.
You don't answer right away.
Okay.
Just think about it.
But here's my follow-up question. Is there anything that he could do that would change your vote? And if he did it, that you would be able, that you would change your mind and vote for him?
If he could show me that, if he could actually state the constitutional rights from front to back, possibly, but Also, I just feel like for the most part, anybody that's in government should have government experience, because the thing is like a lot of the times what happens is for those that don't have governmental experience, they'll really have a lot of support from their vice president or any of their people that are backing up them, and so it's not actually them who are doing these things. It's a community of people, but we don't know who those people are.
Yeah.
So if I know that a president candidacy has all this background, I understand they have knowledge in that. And I think right now what we're missing in our culture, in our community, is knowledge and actual experience. If you don't have experience and you don't have knowledge, especially for this type of job, you don't get my vote.
Okay, so
It didn't get my vote, but back then didn't my get my vote. It's not going to get my vote now.
I mean, you want him to have more experience?
No, I need him to have education. I need him to have experience. I need him to be there are steps. There is a process in my mind when it comes to any type of person that I feel is fit for a job. If you have had the experience there's levels. If you didn't go from level 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, even if you went from level 1 to 3, because you're that good, and you went to 4, 5, then you are qualified. The fact that you're not qualified is not okay. I didn't really even remotely vote for Obama like that. Okay, so that's just how my thought process is. If you don't have experience, then I don't know why I'm voting for you.
But did you vote for him?
No.
And also the things, and that's one more question. The things you just mentioned right now that you require Trump to do in order for him to convince you to have your vote. Does anybody that you look at the Democratic Party right now have those very things you just mentioned right now?
It's very limited. I think that there's a lot of issues in the Democratic Party. I'm not a Democrat. I'm definitely not a Republican either.
Okay.
But to be honest, if I were to pick from one of the Democratic Party candidates, it would probably be Dean Phillips.
And does he have all these things that you just mentioned?
He has a few of them that I just mentioned. So it's a few more than everybody else.
Okay. Fair enough. Nevertheless, appreciate it. We'll continue this conversation. As we know, the election is going to go all the way to November. So we have a lot of time to talk about before the official election happens in November. So I'm interested to hear what you guys have to say. And I appreciate you guys, all the Trump supporters out there, the MAGA supporters out there. Thank you so much for jumping on. If you know all the Biden supporters, all the Democrat supporters, you guys are always welcome to come on the live chat and be part of the conversation. Like I said, this pod is public. So you guys have been watching my channel. You guys know my, you guys know my show. I'm always open to talk to different people, different perspectives, whether we agree or disagree. You guys already know that. If you've been watching my channel, I allow anybody to come in. So don't forget, this is a public show. If you do want to jump on as a public guest and talk to us directly as a virtual Zoom call, virtually subscribe, become a supporting member of my locals. The link is in the description, and you'll be able to jump on and be part of the podcast. And of course, I forgot to mention my main sponsor of the show, Wave Management. So if you guys are looking for solar panels, or you guys looking for a solar job, and if you're looking to fix your credit, go and apply for Wave Management. They have the services that you need to help you in those areas. The link is in the description, and reach out to Jordan. He's the CEO of the company. So shout out to Wave Management. Just give you guys a plug. I forgot to do that in the beginning of the video of this podcast. But I'll see you guys next time. Appreciate you guys. Like and subscribe. Get notification. We do go live next time. And yeah, peace out, y'all. Peace.